Welcome to UNBOXED on Purpose, where authentic purpose comes to light. Breaking limits on this journey, letting dreams flutter freely into flight. Flutter into freedom, flutter freely in God's light.
I greet you with Jesus' joy, for it is in him that I live, breathe, move, and have my very being. Thank you so much for joining us today on Unboxed on Purpose. I'm delighted that you tapped in on purpose. We are a podcast created for Favored by the Father Ministries. I am Barbara Arlene Fields Brehon, your host. Joining us today will be Reynaldo Pareja, and we will be unboxing the concept of one God, one religion, humanity. Together, we're talking about all things that belong to God, and we are going to do it together. Let me bring him on stage and introduce you formally to Reynaldo Pareja. Good morning.
Good morning, Barbara.
God bless you. Let me tell the audience a little bit about you by way of a brief bio. Reynaldo Pareja of Miami, Florida, is retired and dedicated to writing and speaking at events. He has a PhD in communication and sociology, a master's in communication, a bachelor's in philosophy, art, and literature. He also has 3 years of Catholic theology. Dr. Pareja is the author of more than 16 books on the different levels of physical reality, human suffering, existential reflections, and evolution of human consciousness, man's permanent questions of his origins and purpose of life, the spiritual dimension of man's nature, and religious revelations. Whew-wee! We will have not the time to delve into all of those things, but the time that we do have, we will get into all of what we can. We will be digging into and releasing the person behind all of that philosophy. What do you think of that, Reynaldo Pareja?
Thank you. Very generous introduction.
God bless you again. Thank you again for being here. And I want the audience to know that in our very first conversation where we initially met, we unearthed his concerns about being of the Baha'i faith and my being Christian. However, Unboxed on Purpose talks to real people about becoming unboxed on purpose to intentionally pursue purpose. So let's get started and do exactly that today. So, Dr. Pareja, would you tell the audience how we met, how we know each other?
Actually, I was referred to you by a very close friend of mine now, Mr. Wade, and he's also Baha'i. And he said one day, I think you would like very much to meet Barbara and probably be on her podcast, as I have been. And so that's how I get to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wade Franson and I share several things in common, and his organization, Something or Other Publishers, will actually refer quite a few people to the Unboxed on Purpose stage. So we want to thank Wade for doing the things that he does. And we have a show coming up with him being on this podcast again. He has appeared several times. So anyway, I generally ask all my guests to get started with some personal information. When you were growing up, how was it in the days of your growing up? Where'd you grow up? What were your passions in life as a child as you reflect on your childhood and teen years?
Well, I'm going to follow your questionnaire, so I'll respond because I have already put in writing, so I will be exact and brief. I think that my first attraction for spiritual experience was when I was a youth, participating in the liturgy ceremonies of the Catholic Church. They have a name, a specific name for the helper or the priest while he's doing all his liturgy. So I was one of them at that time, and that kind of really attracted me. Um
And where did you grow up?
in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia, South
And
America.
the audience will resonate with your accent with you having said that. And where do you currently reside? Was it that Miami I said in the
Yep,
intro?
yes, definitely in Miami.
Abs-
And for a special reason, my son kind of gave me an ultimatum. He said one day, Dad, I did not grow up with grandpapas. Mom, you didn't grow up with grandmother or grandpapas. My sons are going to grow up with grandpapas, so you're going to come and live here no matter what. And here
I
we are.
love it.
Here we are.
I I love it. We are an intergenerational podcast, and I love family connection coming out of the guests when it's especially when it spews out naturally. Thank you so much for sharing that. As we continue to dump some of the things out that make you who you are, give us, if you can, and I know you can, your 30-second unique identity. Yeah, I did say 30 seconds. I didn't tell you that ahead of time, but give me a 30-second unique identity. Who is Reynaldo Pareja?
A passionate man desiring to share with whomever wants to listen about the deep questions of who we are as human beings created in the image and likeness of God.
I love it because I know you are no stranger to knowing who you are. You are not a guy who is involved in an identity crisis. So I'm going to throw the things at you that I might not have thrown at you when we talked initially. So, how would you describe your perfect day? I want the audience to get a feel for you before we start jumping around and trying not to be philosophical today.
Okay, the perfect day is not getting out of bed without having a spiritual contact with my Creator through meditation and through prayer. Because if you set yourself in that manner, then you're already created to the you're connected to the source. If you jump out of bed just to check up your emails, you're you're already disconnected of who you really are in the very essence of your soul. And that's more important than being very knowledgeable what's happening in the world.
It's a
Oh,
fact.
that you don't have to be unaware of it. No, but that's not the.
Absolutely. That's not the first thing that you should do in the mind of Ronaldo as well as in my mind. First thing you do is talk to the Lord.
Yeah.
So going back again, we're still in that early zone in the podcast of who it is that you are. So as you reflect on influencers in your life,
Mhm, mhm.
who would you say really saw you in your journey as an individual, and what did they speak into your life early on?
I really think it was the first time that I had contact with a Jesuit, with a Jesuit order, because I was in the States studying high school, one of my junior year in high school in San Jose, California, and I just happened to be in a Jesuit school. The teacher that I had for history was formidable, just absolutely formidable. He was extremely well versed, well centered, and the way he spoke really inspired me. I really
Yes.
thought that that is an interesting lifestyle. And so I must really give him the credit of having even become knowledgeable and interested in the Jesuit order.
So fascinating
Thank you.
because I'm going to say this as you're talking about the Jesuit order, I'm going to say this alongside that in the beginning of this podcast, I already told everybody that you are of the Baha'i faith. Would you share, because I don't want the audience to be confused, the comparison between as far as you see it, between the Jesuit and the Baha'i?
Well, the Jesuit order is a group of a religious group that came out of in the 16th century, founded by Ignatius of Loyola, a soldier that got wounded himself in a battle, and while he was recuperating, having a convalescence time, he actually asked himself, what is it that I'm going to do now that I have been wounded? And he realized that he didn't want to continue being a military. And somehow he got illuminated that he was going to create the lightweight cavalry for Jesus. And that's exactly what he created. A very light, very expedient, very agile congregation. And he put itself under the Pope. And the Pope is actually the head of the Jesuit order, although they have their own general. But the Pope orders the Jesuits, as he did once. He dissolved the company because he didn't like it.
And so, as compared to Baha'i,
yeah, the big difference is the Baha'i faith does not have a congregation, does not have a structured religious groups. The Baha'i faith is one whole unit, one religion.
say your title again.
There is no clerical institution inside the Baha'i faith.
And so we have the title of our show. There is one. Would you say the title, please? I want it to come out of your mouth.
Only one God, one religion, one humanity.
And so the audience is where we both are. We don't want to leave them behind. We want them with us all the way. And so we know upon your foundation where you stand. And so when I ask this question, they'll know how you are resonating with me, and then they will too resonate with you. And if you had to unbox one lesson that shaped who you are today, we're talking about lessons in life now. What would that one lesson be that shaped who you have become? We're talking unboxed on purpose, one major lesson, because it's only a 30-minute show.
Actually, it was a decision at the end of my high school year that I was supposed to make a decision whether to go into the university style, or shall I enter or not the Jesuit order in which I was attracted to.
And tell us.
And I opted for the Jesuit order instead of going to a university.
And the main reason was because
it was the decision. Yeah, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to just become a professional, or do I want to be more? And the Jesuit order at that moment really gave me the attractiveness that this was a far better choice than just going the normal route of going to university and get a title, etc., etc.
Even though you did all of that also.
Inside, because that's another characteristic of the Jesuit order, is they are very studious. I mean, they consecrate 12 years study nonstop. And so,
amen. There are a lot of people who may be listening to this podcast who aren't aware of the background that you're giving. And so I really, really appreciate that about how this conversation is evolving. So before we unbox the next puzzle piece of your journey, let's just pause for a moment and show the audience how they can be featured for one of our future episodes. Excellent. We will be right back.
Excellent.
Do you have a story to share? A journey that shaped you? A message that could inspire someone else to keep going? Favored by the Father Ministries invites you to be a featured guest on the Unboxed on Purpose podcast, a space where real stories are shared, hearts are uncovered, and lives are impacted. Your voice matters, your experiences matter, and someone, somewhere, needs what you carry. If you're ready to speak, to inspire, and to be part of something meaningful, we are now booking guests. Visit favoredbythefather.com/contact us and take your seat at the table. Unboxed on Purpose, where your story is not just told, it is released with intention.
So, welcome back to the Unboxed on Purpose stage. We are talking with Reynaldo Pareja, and we're going to dump some more of the puzzle pieces out of his identity box. So, would you tell us what specific things you want to share with the audience as it pertains to stepping outside of a box to pursue your ultimate purpose? And it has to connect with your childhood passion, because you've been very, very succinct all the way through the interview so far, and everything is already connected. So talk to us about anything that you choose to in regard to pursuing that ultimate purpose. How in the world has God connected all these pieces? The one God. We have one Lord, one faith, one baptism. I read in the Bible, we're talking about the one true God. Just talk to us.
Okay. I would call it the third unbox moment was precisely during the theology years of studies as a Jesuit. You have 4 years of theology, three before you get ordained, and then one more to complete the theology course. I went as far as the third year of theology studies, and 3 months before ordination as a priest. And during that time, I had the privilege, I would say, of a very honest teacher, Jesuit priest, gave the history of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Honest because he didn't hide those crucial historical moments of the evolution of Catholicism dogma. And that was my hint. I really went in depth and studied in depth what he just had hinted. And then I became completely aware that many of the dogmas of the Catholic Church are not God's inspired, they're human made dogmas. And once defined, they are imposed on whoever is a Catholic follower. If you don't follow that, even though you don't understand it, then you're out of the institution. You get kicked out. You're declared an infidel, whatever you want to call it. So that was the moment in which I really had to ask myself, these dogmas that specifically were man-made, that I am questioning. Am I going to, in the next 25 years of my life, going to preach on them, impose on people without believing in them? I said no. So I left the Jesuit order.
Wow. So when you look back on the younger you, we're going to go to the point, any point you want to go to, but before that decision was made, is there advice that you would give to the younger you?
Depending on the age, if for example, one thing that I did taught my son, both sons, is find your passion, follow it. Don't make out of your passion a subordinate to a job. The best job that you would have is the one that you have passion in, because when you have a passion, job is not anymore a job. It's a fulfillment of a life purpose, and they follow it. So it depends very much on the youth at that time that he will be willing to understand that.
Absolutely. And so the advice that you would give to the younger Reynaldo, what would that would be? How would you phrase that? This is what you just said, can apply to young people today. But the younger you, who's already lived through what you've lived through, suggesting that you may do something differently. Is
No,
there anything different that you would do?
no. Actually, younger me, I
Yeah.
was following my intuitive passion of becoming somebody of service inside the Jesuit order. That I wouldn't have changed. Not even the fact that at the end of my high school, I had a girlfriend, very powerful girlfriend, and I had to make the choice. Her going the route of the finishing a university and getting married probably, or entering into the Jesuit order.
We're keeping this conversation real so that people understand there's a whole lot more to a philosopher than philosophy. Praise the Lord for being unboxed on purpose with a specific purpose. Tell us about your current work. Is there anything you'd like for us to know about your work and maybe how your work collides with your ultimate purpose that you've already been very clearly sharing with us?
Yeah. Well, my work is no longer paid job because I'm a retirement. You can see by this, handsome beard that I am quite a grandfather. So my passion is on writing. I love writing on all those topics and themes that you uh, revealed in the bio. So I write every day. Every day I write, and that's how I have been able to write more than 16 books because there's a bubbling in my mind. How can I express this idea so people will get enthusiastic about it, will reflect upon it, will like to even get into a deeper one? And so I put those old books out there in Amazon so that if anybody's interested in the topic, well, they can acquire it.
Absolutely. Would you share with us how, since we're talking about the books, the writing, how they can get their hands on your writing, on your
Well,
books?
basically, either go to my website, which is very easy, reynaldoalternativevision.com. That is a very easy to memorize. Alternative vision is because precisely what I think I am offering is that it's an alternative vision of many points of reality. And in there, in that website, they will see all the books. And if there's any book, then they can send me an email and I'll then send them an electronic copy.
I'll have that on the screen so as they are hearing you say it, they will see it. And those who are audio only, you've already clearly said to go to reynaldoalternativevision.com.
Vision.com.
Is there going to give you open mic and give you the opportunity to just share from your heart anything that you would like to share in words of wisdom, words of advice, or anything like that before we go to a closing moment?
Follow your passion, but with a critical mind in the sense don't accept things just given to you, especially to do through the social media. Social media is so superficial. There is no way you can even verify what they're saying, how true it is. Go to the sources. Be critical about what you think because you have researched it to the bottom. And now with AI, you can do that very well.
Yes,
Very
fact.
well. So use AI as what is good for. It gives you the very concrete, exact information depending how you ask the question. You ask a dumb general question, it gives you a dumb general answer. If you're precise with the question, it will give you an abundant amount of information. But go in, be inquisitive. Don't swallow whole what they tell you, and then form an idea and a judgment.
Sounds wonderful to me, and I'm tickled because I use AI a lot for the very reasons that you say,
All right.
and it does make a difference. If you
Right.
ask it a dumb question, it's going to give you a dumb answer. It's as simple as that. So you
More
do
than
need to
dumb,
know
yeah, more
how.
than dumb is a very general, no way down.
It's not a human being that you're
Yeah,
talking to
yeah,
when you're sharing with AI. So
yeah.
that's kind of comical to me, but some people are still unaware of what really goes on behind it. It's just not a person, but it does help you with tremendous research if you know how to ask it what you really need to know the answer to. So what's next on the horizon for you, sir?
Get my next book published. It's a slow process, but it's in the almost the last stage of the before I get it out published. It's called Science and Religion, Eternal Foes, a complementary interpretation of reality, of total reality.
Interesting. And I'm sure they will be able to find that on Amazon as well,
Yeah,
correct?
definitely.
And
But
we
when it gets published, then.
exactly, exactly. And they can also access it through your website. You'll
I'll
have a
have it
link there
there.
as well. Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Is there any other information that you would like to share with our audience that you are prepared to share that would include any events or anything that you want to promote at this time? You got open mic.
Well, if you're inquisitive about evil and evilness, I have my latest book is called What is the Reality of Evilness? That is in Amazon.com. If you're really interested in an alternative vision, I think you'll be surprised that you can actually see evil and evilness in a very different way.
We'll tap into that because we need to know how to live this life
Mhm.
in a way that would be about God. And so, for my very, very, very last question to you, would you give us a short exposition as to the title of today's show so that all of our viewers and listeners can understand very, very clearly why the title represents this show?
Oh, yeah, very briefly. One God, because there is only one God. If there are multiple gods, it doesn't matter what name any culture or any religious group has given to God, Allah, Yahweh, God, good, Dieu, Dios. It doesn't matter. There is only one God. If you have more than one God, then you don't have a God. You have multiple gods. And he's the creator of all of us and the whole universe. He is actually the creator. And he has created us in the image and likeness of him. Then that is only one race, the human race, created in the image and likeness of God. That doesn't matter that the richness of humanity is that you have blacks, you have browns, you have yellows, that is the richness of humanity, not the reason for killing each other or putting prejudices that separate us. We all are all made out of the same spiritual essence, the God essence. So, discovering that, then we know we're only one humanity. The best picture of one humanity are the new pictures of the astronauts that went around the moon. When you see that planet there, that blue sphere, you don't see any geographical divisions of here's the United States, here's Alaska. No, it's only one world. That's the only planet, that's the only home, the true home that we have. If we don't take care of it, we'll destroy it. So one humanity living in that one world, having one God.
I love it. I love the way that you connected all those pieces. And I thank you so much
My
for
pleasure, man.
joining Unboxed on Purpose today. I believe you have encouraged others to step outside of confining boxes because life is really a whole lot more simple than we can superimpose cultural things on to make it complicated. We are a group of folk in this podcast who believe that there is one God, one religion, and one humanity.
And one
Thank you
religion,
again.
yeah, one religion. I didn't expound that. One religion is because who has revealed religion to us? His messengers, Moses, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, now Baha'u'llah with the Baha'i faith. Those are the emissaries of God. And they are only emissaries of one God's religion, the one that the revelation they've given us in different moments of time and history and culture. But that doesn't matter. It's only one religion. God is not contradictory.
God is not contradictory. There is one God. Thank you so much for pointing that out
my dear.
so plainly to us today.
Thank
So
you.
I want our
Thank you.
audience to join us for about 30 minutes or so every week. We release episodes on Thursdays of the Unboxed on Purpose podcast. We engage in conversations that refresh and restore our minds, our futures, our shape, and even our today. We release our episodes weekly, and so you can tap in. So whenever we do put them out, we don't take them down on the Favored by the Father YouTube channel. I post those on Facebook, our LinkedIn, as well as on most audio podcast platforms. So as we continue to grow, we are like those little butterflies in my logo, emerging from a box, a dark space in life, allowing the Spirit of God to advance us to immeasurable and lofty levels in the Lord. We want you to fulfill your purpose, be your authentic self, grow in grace, which is God's special favor, and remain favored by the Father. Hope to see you again next week.
I really hope to see you again too. Will be a pleasure, my dear. Thank you.
God
very
bless
much.
you.
Same.
You were made with purpose, an authentic purpose you can claim. Keep unboxing every blessing. Let your spirit flutter freely in Jesus' name. Until next time, keep flying boldly. Keep living fully, heart open wide. This is Unboxed on Purpose, where your story comes alive.
Reverend Dr. Barbara A.F. Brehon, visionary servant leader, speaker, teacher, mentor, and best-selling author. Dr. Brehon's books are written to inspire, equip, and encourage believers on the journey of faith. The Disciples' Journey to Christ-Likeness Trilogy, Reach Me with Smiles, a handbook for developing disciple makers, Beyond Discipleship to Relationship, Developing Intimacy with the Lord, Blooming for Christ, Growing Godly Intimacy, Reverend B. Beast's Morning Messages devotional series, Points to Ponder, Devotional Readings and Journaling, Volumes 1 and 2, the Perspective Series, Perspectives, What Singles Really Want for Ministry and Life, and 100 Unboxed Perspectives, Reminiscences that Inspire. Her anthology contributions include An Abraham Move in Beyond Adversity, 2 chapters in From Cocoon to Soar, Emerging from Darkness, and The Power of Self-Discovery. All titles are available now on Amazon. And as always, grow in grace, God's special favor, and remain favored by the Father.
Looking for deep encouragement, healing, and divine alignment? Your next chapter starts here. Announcing 3 powerful new releases from Dr. Barbara A.F. Brehon, designed to ignite your purpose and mend your heart. These ministry resources were created to support healing, honest reflection, and restoration, to provide space for honest conversation and movement from fracture toward fullness. Available now. Visit favoredbythefather.com or order your copies today on Amazon. We simply pray that every person who encounters these pages will know that we want to walk with you through your spiritual journey. Grow in grace, God's special favor, and always remain favored by the Father.